Hello, Robert from MudBusters here. Today we're going to put on a set of our Max Fender flares on the Yamaha RMAX 1000. First thing you're going to want to do, starting with the front, of course, first thing you're going to want to do is remove these two bolts. Once you get them removed, you'll notice that you have two hole locations that are larger than the rest. Those two are for these two factory bolts. So we'll line those back up. Factory hardware back in the hole. And tighten them right back up. Okay. Now you notice that you have some holes. Those holes are where our rivets are going to belong. We need to be sure while we're installing this that number one, it's pushed all the way back up against the fender and it aligns inside this edge. Now the best way to do that, if you don't have a friend to help you, is take a little squeeze clamp, they're about $1, Harbor Freight or any other supplier, and put it up here on the fender, holding it in that line right where you want it to go. Then you're going to take a 21/32 drill bit, and you're going to drill a location and then install a rivet in that location. Drill the next location and install a rivet in there, and so on and so forth. From the bottom, work yourself all the way to the front. The very front, there's a very small hole. It's not for a rivet. There's not enough clearance at that front edge for a rivet, so we use a tech screw at that location. We'll get to that in just a moment. Starting at the bottom, and if you need clearance, you can always turn your wheels, drill that first location. Be sure when you're drilling you don't ever go too far on these machines. Sometimes there's things hiding behind those fenders. In most cases, we prepared for that and we've avoided critical location. But if you have accessories installed or electrical items installed that run wires behind these fenders, be careful because damage has occurred. So I've got the first rivet in, move on to the next one. Drill its location, install a rivet. See, that one's pretty tight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to use that drill bit to loosen it up just a little bit. That way, install it nice and easy. And then continue moving yourself up until you get done. And be sure to check occasionally that you are still in line up front. When you get to the very last location, there's a couple of screws like this in your kit. Put one of them right on that corner through that little tiny hole. It's supplied for. Just like that, fronts are done. All right, now that the fronts are done, we're going to begin on the rears. We'll start with the upper. On the upper, you'll have 3 bolts underneath the bedside here. You'll need to remove those 3 bolts. Take note when you're removing them that the bolt in the front has a shoulder, and the others do not. Make sure it goes back in the same location when you're done. Take our flare, put it right back up to its factory location. Make sure the shoulder bolt's used in the front. When you take this thing, these bolts off, the outer fender actually moves from the inner structure. So you'll have to find and align that hole to get that bolt started. Same with the ones on the rear. All right. Once you've got those bolts reinstalled, you'll see that you have 5 rivet locations. On this one, you can drill them all at the same time and then install your rivet. It's probably better that you don't. You start at the rear, drill the first hole, and install your rivet. Some of those rivets can be difficult to push in. If you have trouble pushing them with your thumb, grab a screwdriver, ease the handle and press with the handle. It makes it quite a bit easier sometimes. And the less okay. And there's the upper. Now we'll move on to installing the rear lowers. On the lower rears, you've got 2 bolts that will need to be removed again, just like you did on the upper. Now these are shoulders. Then you've got 2 slotted holes. Those slotted holes are for the factory hardware to go back. Before you go any farther, these are slotted for a reason. Close your bed. You'll want to align the outer edge of the flare with the upper flare. Once you get them aligned, then you've got your hardware. Right. Once those are installed, you've got 4 rivet locations to drill, and drill and install those rivets. And just like that, your rears are installed. If you've done this on both sides, you're ready to go for a ride. Enjoy your MudBusters.